Okay, reviewing another one of the talks that is going around right now from the ARC conference, Alliance for Responsible Civilization, or something like this. I should probably just know what the acronym stands for. This is my second video talking about it. Jonathan Pageau I think of him just really as a philosopher. He's a figure online with a podcast and YouTube channel and these sorts of things. He is an artist as well. He creates like these carvings. They're very traditional looking in terms of like European style of artwork with religious undertones, mythologies, etc. Interesting figure. His talk that went popular there was something like a warning against AI. You will stop using ChatGPT after you hear this video. And of course you have to title things in a buzzworthy sort of way. I myself will do that for this video. However, it was part of a more broad debate, I would say, about the proper ways of using AI. And so towards the end of the conversation, he's sort of talking about things directly, like the way forward is not integrating with technology, not the neural link to your brain. Sorry, Elon Musk. It is not looking outward into the cosmos and going to other planets. Sorry, Eric Weinstein. And he kind of went against these things, which for me, I have a sort of techno-futurist vision of the future, I guess you could say, but I also have a vision of the future that's very grounded. And towards the end of his talk, he said we need to aim towards more things that make humans human, become more deep in your humanity. He referenced things like go camping, create artwork, develop deep and meaningful relationships. And I'm thinking, yes, dude, preach it to the choir. Can't you have both? That's an interesting question. He sort of framed it as though this is the way, not that. Stop looking for these external technologies to lead us forward. And of course, the debate around AI is often focused around questions like, can it think? Can it reason? Can it automate tasks? Can it outperform humans? How much longer until AI is smarter than all of us? What do you mean by smart? Like, if I'm using my computer, researching things, it has access to everything. Not everything, but a lot. Alternatively, in the past, I would have had to go to a library to research in the way that I research things. Would have to go look at encyclopedias, talk to a librarian. That librarian might be flawed, might not have all the answers to all the questions that I have. AI does not have all the answers to the questions that I have, but it is a sure, much faster way to get those answers, for good or for ill. His question that he posed was something a little bit more deep, which is the question of who does it serve? And I don't think so much that it was a conspiratorial question, like who is the AI serving? Are they harvesting your data? You know, are you serving your evil master by using it? But I think it was more a question of like, how do we use tools? And then he framed it in two different ways, again drawing on religious and historic mythology. One was the Holy Grail, which is something that is life-sustaining, that sustains civilization, that nourishes, right, that gives back to you. You go and you drink from the Holy Grail, and it is a life-giving elixir, right? It is all of the things encapsulated that provide life to life, right? They're the ingredients for making a good life. And if you think of this through the lens of technology, you know, modern medicine has been a holy grail. Agriculture as well, the abundance of being able to produce food, and the scientific method too, right? Developing an understanding and learning of you know, what life is, what we can do with things, and how we can even create technology in the first place, like AI. And AI itself is very much a holy grail in the fact that it can accelerate research, Okay, not having to go to a librarian, not even having to go to school and to be able to learn things and to develop things. And I don't think he was discrediting AI's ability to do such things. The contrast that he outlined was the lance. Okay, a lance like a spear or a jousting lance, which is a tool for protection, but also for conquest, for war, for domination. The same intelligence that can cure disease, if AI is able to help humans cure disease, that same technology, the same intelligence behind that can create diseases as well, right? So the same thing that can cure us from something can also be the same thing that can create a problem for us in the first place. Something that can build an autonomous driving car network can also build an autonomous weapon service, right? Something that can educate millions of people can also manipulate millions of people too. So the question of who does it serve is more like technology isn't good or evil, but it's interesting. So the video just before this was a discussion around Anthropic's discussion. Their representation at the ARC conference was a lady named Chloe, forget her last name. She was talking on AI research and these sorts of things, and she was explaining how, like, if you analyze the ways in which an AI is created, the ways that you prompt it, what you reward it for, right? You can create sort of two different streams, right? Ones that are evil, ones that are good, and there's emergent properties within. It's not like you're giving all the direction to make it good or evil. You give it some general direction, and then it expands upon those directions. So it's a more complex piece of technology. So there's a lot of questions. This is my framing: is what can AI do for me? So right now I am coding a website. I'm vibe coding it because I'm not a coder. I don't know how to code. So alternatively, I'll just play around like on Wix or Squarespace, but with Claude, at least, and other AI tools, I can actually just create the website that I would like. And this is for this art collective project that I'm doing with a friend. And now I'm able to contribute by making this website for us, which can house our artworks, can create a landing page. The side thing of it is that we will cater food, cooking tacos, etc. He's a trained chef, and I'm just along for the ride. I can create that tool. So AI can do this for me, but the deeper question is who benefits from this? And then even deeper that is who does it serve? And that's how he was framing this whole AI discussion. And then he referenced things like AI slop, TikTok generation, how we're producing highly incompetent and powerful individuals in a society of highly capable but incompetent people. And he referenced another issue, which is the Moloch problem. Moloch is like I forget exactly, I've heard this discussed in podcasts before. You should look it up. Moloch is like this representative creature that it kind of represents a race to the bottom. So everyone keeps building something, and it's U.S. versus China, and everyone's developing and going along this way. It's like the nuclear arms race, right? So can we control AI systemically? No, because it's integrated. It's there. It's too much of an economic force. It's like, can you control capitalism, right? Can you control market forces? But can you control it from the individual level? Yes, for sure. This is where he brought in the concept of becoming fully human. So in my example of use AI to automate the business side of the work that you want to do, okay, I cannot check out of the system as much as there's communists on the street corner, which is true. I'm walking home and they're handing out newspapers and such. And I always give them the thumbs up, like, good for you. In my mind, I'm thinking, like, dude, we need something different than communism. Communism is it's past. I also think the same thing when a conservative and a liberal are telling me to come to their party meetings and join their party. It's like, dude, are we not past conservatives and liberals and communists? Like, come on. Let's get over this. Let's develop something new. I think that's where AI can actually have its value, in that it can provide us a third perspective, referring to it as alien intelligence. It gives us an opportunity to see things through a different lens. So who does it serve? If it's alien intelligence, which I'm not saying it is, this is the Yuval Noah Harari framing, which he's talked about often, which is something like, we don't exactly understand how it's built, we don't understand all of the intricacies of it, therefore it is alien to us. Even if humans built it, it is artificial, yes, but it is also alien in a sense. So, that's kind of where we're at with that. So if you can use AI as a tool, for this video, I might say, give me a fucking title for this video, optimize it for search engines. It's all bullshit, blah, blah, blah. For example, with my writing opportunities, I could not have published this book if I wasn't able to have a tab open and ask AI every step of the way, how do I design the cover? What tools should I use? How do I design the spine? I could have done it still on my own, but AI expedited the process, allowed me to launch my author career, which I feel like was much later than I intended to. I've been writing for a number of years now, and I look at this and I think, why the hell couldn't I have had something published 5 years ago? It is literally this easy. AI somehow is a tool that makes it that much easier. It's just like a better Google search. So is that different in many ways, or is it just more effective tool? Something that we've had. Google search has existed my whole life. When I was a young kid using the computer, it was Yahoo. Yahoo is a shit search engine, but nevertheless, this idea of being able to search something on the internet has existed for my entire life. Now AI just gives more depth to it. So in many ways, I think it is more meaningful to be able to engage in it in this sort of a way. So becoming more human, go outside, experience nature, develop relationships with people. Not to toot my own horn, but those are my goals. It's not that I'm doing those perfectly, but I am certainly setting those as my goals. Develop my relationship with my partner, develop my relationship with my parents, go out and experience nature more, go and create artworks. And then if I can launch an art project with a friend, if we can cook food for people and host events, and if we can do that while being economically sustained, can create a website, can sell prints online, can help manage payments for catering services by getting AI to help us develop this part of the business model. Yes, we could have done these things on our own, but what we like to do is paint and cook food, not to sit down and do all these spreadsheets and numbers and these sorts of things. So I think it's a rather simple conversation. It would be someone like Jonathan Pageau. Is this the first time I'm pronouncing his name in this whole video? Jonathan Pageau. I feel like it is. I've been referencing his artwork and his talk. It's going to be in the title, but Jonathan Pageau, he's from Quebec, so fellow Canadian. So anyways, I think that's the way to use AI. That's the way that I'm using AI. Another topic for videos, people are promoting getting Claude to write entire ebooks for you to publish on Amazon. That's absolute bullshit. One of the best things of having written this book is now when I sit down and read it, it's actually meaningful for me because I wrote it. And then I'm discovering ways right away. It's like, oh yeah, that's how I can become better. I don't like the way this was written. I don't like the way this was formatted. I rushed this to get it out. That's the whole point. But it's a learning process, and I'm expediting the process. And that's how AI can be useful. So who is it serving? I think it's serving me. I think I'm making it serve me. And it's a great assistant. So that's how AI should be used. And damn it, that's how I'm using it.